Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Swati, and I'm here to do my school and community relations case study, which is on parent apathy. The first step is to identify our problem and kind of analyze it, so we need to look at what we know. What we know is that Mrs. Rose is new in the position of assistant principal. She just recently graduated with her administrative degree just the summer prior to taking this position, and she has a strong desire to work within the community. John F. Kennedy School does not have a PTO or PTA or other parent organization, and the principal reports that there really isn't much support from the parents. The principal doesn't seem to believe there is an issue. He feels that things are going well without parent involvement. He also feels that parents are apathetic about supporting the school and believes that he himself has a strong community presence just by phone calls and things that he already does. A parent meeting. After Mrs. Rose brought up her desire to have a parent community involvement again, the principal did agree to hold a meeting. He indicated that he didn't want any kind of PTA or PTO, but would consider a parent group, and an invitation was sent out to all parents for that meeting. At the actual meeting, 8 parents did show up, and the principal, it seemed like he kind of wanted to cancel due to the low turnout. What do I need to know? In the past, when parent involvement groups failed, what were those parent groups being specifically asked to do? And what were the reasons that the administrative team believes that those groups failed? Is it just parent apathy, or could it have been something else? After the initial invitation went out, were there reminders or additional invites that could have been sent out that maybe just weren't in our information provided? We also would like to know, what has the principal done specifically in the past to get parents involved? Has he made personal phone calls, just sent out letters like he did for the meeting? Kind of what has he done? Also, I'd like to know what the demographics are of the community. Is the community a low socioeconomic level where parents may not have the means to help? What time are they asking parents to help? Because if maybe parents have a shift work where they're working a second shift or something and they're just not available. So those are some things that I really need to know beyond what's available. But looking at all of that, then we have to identify the problem. And for me, ultimately, the problem in this case is one of support. The school doesn't have enough support from the parents, nor does it feel like parents have support from the school administration. So our plan of action and strategies to implement that is first to convince the principal to just go ahead with that meeting. It would be important because even though there's only 8 people, that's still 8 people more than you had, prior to the meeting. And those 8 people came because they're interested in it. Next, I would work on developing other ways to communicate with parents. A short, 2-sentence letter that's sent home over a week prior to the event with no follow-up would be difficult for most parents to remember, especially if they are, working different schedules and have more than one child and just maybe have a busy life. So I would try, some texting programs or email reminders, even voicemail reminders. And then I would allow the assistant principal to use those newly learned skills to really develop that parent community. I feel like the principal should utilize every tool available to develop those stronger relationships, and Mrs. Rose has just gone through coursework in this area and may have some really great ideas for this group. After that, I would hold additional meetings, and I wouldn't just give up after the one. I would work on continued communication and take those 8 parents that you started with as your foundation and just grow the group from there. Then I would set some goals. Work with the parents at the school, set goals, for what parents would like to see from this group and what the school would like from the parent groups. And then finally, I would monitor the progress of those goals, and that ensures the successful implementation of this parent group. Some of the strategies that we would be using to promote the success of this program and for the students is to utilize information that's gathered at that initial meeting, because this would be an effective way to get input from parents face to face. Another strategy would be to utilize technology to communicate. I mentioned previously just those new texting systems where you can send out a mass text that parents can't really respond to, and you're not having to give out your personal cell phone. which would parents may respond better to. Another thing that a strategy to be done is develop specific items or events parents could help with. By being specific and saying, I need 2 parents to do this at this time, it might help the parents be able to offer up support and could give kind of a foundation by being very specific. And another strategy is just developing those positive relationships. And I feel like ultimately Mrs. Rose and the principal should want to work with the parents and the community members in a positive way for the success of all students. So things that I was thinking, feeling, and valuing when I read through this and as I'm creating this, I'm thinking just the principal seems to be just as apathetic as the parents. And I feel like Mrs. Rose could be the perfect person to run with this project. And I was also thinking that parents may not have been given a good chance if the situation that we were given is any indication of the way that he had done things in the past. I just don't feel like there was enough communication to really remind parents and get them involved. Things that I was feeling. I was just feeling a little frustrated. Frustrated for Mrs. Rose because obviously she has a desire and knows how important school and community relations are. And then also as a parent of a child in school, I was feeling frustrated at the invitation to the meeting, that it was just very short and it was sent out well in advance, which would be good, but there was no follow-up. The things that I was valuing while completing this was just that strong parent-community relationships with the school and how important that is for the success of students and teachers and just the school in general. Things that I feel are unresolved or maybe need further investigation. I still feel unresolved with the history when the principal discussed that, parent groups never really worked out in the past. I'd like to know why and what could you have done differently. I'd also like to know the results of the meeting. Were the parents that showed up excited? And things that I think that I would like to further investigate would be those other forms of communication that could be used more easily and frequently to help parents have more of just a presence within the school. So things that this administrative team could do really to promote integrity is just taking time to go ahead with the meeting, do what you say you're going to do, would help to build those positive relationships. By providing more consistent reminders, they would be ensuring that all parents would have ample opportunities to participate in these meetings. And by holding additional meetings after the initial meeting, the administrative team would be being very persistent in their quest, which would show that they value this group and that they really want this group to be a part of the school environment. And I feel like those are all things that would be demonstrating integrity within their leadership. Things that would be promoting fairness. I feel that by taking the time at the meeting to listen to maybe what the parents had to say, their concerns, would be ensuring that everyone has a voice. By setting goals with the parent group on the topic of their group, I feel like they would be able to collect data and kind of implement plans in ways that they could see, okay, this is what they want, let's try this, and then let's measure that and see if it was successful or not. And also by allowing the assistant principal to take more of a leading role in this parent involvement group, I think the principal would be utilizing the strengths of his staff members, which I think all come back around to creating an environment of fairness and equality. Acting ethically, I feel like by going ahead with the meeting that was scheduled, even though there was low turnout, the team is showing that he's, again, being ethical and doing what they say they will do. And I think just by providing an opportunity to get parent opinions and set goals would be ensuring that each party has a voice, and then monitoring that and making adjustment shows just good administrative policies and procedures too. And it would also show the group that they're important and not something that is just supposed to happen in a school, but that the school administrative team and the school as a whole really values the support of their parents. As a future administrator, I know that it is going to be so important that we are all aware of each decision that we make and how it either supports or prevents the success for all students. Doing these kinds of case studies helps us to think through these processes of things that we could come into contact with as future administrators. Thank you.